I've been running a fully booked Airbnb for the past 2 years right here in a place that I don't even own. And in this video, I want to share with you how I made this place successful, how I started it, what are the challenges, what are the things that people don't really talk about, and why I've decided to shut it down now, despite it being so popular and getting almost only 5-star reviews. So if you've ever wondered what it's like to run your own Airbnb and what it actually takes, this video is for you. So now for the last time, I'm going to take you into this flat, explain to you how I made this successful, what it took, and what were the challenges, what are the reasons why I chose to shut this place down. First, I'm going to show you the property, so come on in. Okay, so now we're inside. Let's take a look around. So this is the living space, a work desk, dining table, some beautiful art made by my amazing sister in Finland. And here we have the seating area, the TV, a lovely balcony, a kitchen where we have everything we need. Then let's go into the bedrooms. This is the smaller bedroom. And then let's go into the master bedroom. We have a book collection. Then we have a bathroom here. Now that we've seen the place, let's get into the video. Let's take a seat over here and talk. Okay, so before we get into the video, just a little bit about myself. Background, I am Sushila, I'm 36 years old. I was born and brought up in Finland, Europe, and then I moved here to Chennai, India to help street dogs and to take care of my currently 9 rescued dogs. And I live with them, and I also run another Airbnb that I've been running as a homestay for the past 4 years. And what does this place mean to me? Well, it really means a lot. I mean, I started this place knowing nothing. I didn't know anyone who's ran an Airbnb with a rental property. I didn't have any mentors. I didn't have anyone guiding me. I took a huge risk, and I actually exceeded my expectations in the first month itself. I haven't been sitting around waiting for bookings. The bookings have just been flowing to me, and I can say this place has been like my baby, like something that I started from scratch, and I made it a thriving business. And I've scrubbed the toilets literally by myself here. I have put in the real hard work, online, offline, like all over. I have worked really hard for this place, and it means a lot to me, but that still doesn't mean that I should keep going, and I'll share with you more in the video. So what was my situation like 2 years ago before I started this place? Well, I was already running my other Airbnb, the Pink Villa, and I was taking care of my 9 rescued street dogs, my adopted babies at home, and also rescuing street dogs, running my NGO to help them. And I actually my Airbnb would definitely be enough for me to sustain myself and to have a comfortable life, but with a lot of special needs dogs and a lot of medical costs, I didn't want to depend on only one place, and I knew that the cost would just keep increasing. And I wanted to even not have to ask for donations for the street dogs. I just wanted to have a better income so that I can help more indie dogs, street dogs, and my own dogs. And I am a very ambitious person. I love developing, making progress, and being creative and taking chances and just trying something new. And this was definitely something that I didn't know anything about, but I was determined that I wanted to make this work. So how did I find this particular apartment, and how did I get the owners to agree to let me run this as an Airbnb? Well, I started looking for apartments all over the internet, and I also contacted some local brokers, and I was just looking for a place. Mostly I already had in my mind, like, I want a 2 BHK. 1 BHK, I thought, okay, it'll be easier to set up, it'll cost less for the initial, to furnish a 1 BHK, but then it'll limit the amount of guests that I can have. And then I didn't want like a 3 BHK because I knew that I didn't have the budget, because I knew that how much approximately it would cost for me to set up everything and furnish the place. And I didn't want a furnished place because mostly I feel like people here don't very much have know how to style things. I saw a lot of ads, and I contacted the owners or the brokers or the agents, and some people were skeptical. They have never heard of Airbnb and what I wanted to do, the concept, and they didn't want to go ahead. And then I found this building where there actually was many apartments that were available, and few of the owners were ready to give it for rent. But then I decided with this apartment specifically because of the privacy, the fact that it's on the first floor and the view here is kind of peaceful compared to the others. And of course I had to consider the rent, the maintenance cost, and how much I could actually make from this particular location and this setup, and how much I would have to spend. This fly is freaking annoying, sorry. And I knew that I wanted to go for a gated community because of safety, security for women, and not having to deal with so many issues. Like, these gated communities have mostly power backup, because power issues like electricity cuts is a huge problem here in India, and I didn't want to have to deal with that with going for an independent house or somewhere where they don't have power backup or having to invest in that. And then how did I convince the owners? It's pretty simple, but I think in the US, Airbnbs have a more bad reputation, that people think that it's like a place where guests come to party, and they're probably more used for that. Whereas in India, in my experience, Airbnbs have a very good set of guests compared to like Booking.com and other online travel agents. I would say that Airbnb guests are pretty nice and more like take better care of the places where they stay. This is just my experience. So a lot of people don't know about the concept of Airbnb. So I just approached the owner and told him that I'm interested in taking this place for rent, and that it would be a good thing for him, because instead of having long-term tenants who maybe are not willing to move out when they should, or you don't know how they're going to take care of the place, with these short-term rentals, you can be assured that we're taking really good care and cleaning the place, because it's constantly being occupied by new guests. So every week we're doing really good, thorough cleaning. And I also showed my other Airbnb and my reviews, kind of just showing that I'm a reliable, person. And I just assured the owner that I will take full responsibility of whatever happens during the stays of the guests, and whatever the guests damage or whatever goes wrong, I take full responsibility. So I just made them feel like I will take good care and they don't have to worry about the place at all. So how did I choose this location that got so good bookings? Well, I did my research. I really went through Airbnb and I checked where are the Airbnbs located, and what kind of rates are they charging, and where are people interested in staying, what kind of places nearby are of interest to tourists and guests and visitors. And I just really did my research, and I chose this place also because it is pretty near to my own home. It's just 20-25 minutes away. I didn't want to be further away, so that if there is some issues, I can come easily and I can come and clean the place, because initially I was cleaning the place myself. Location is everything. So if you don't have a good location, you're not going to get bookings. So I really made sure that I had a good location to be able to run a profitable Airbnb. So what was the place like before I set it up, and how was I able to affordably furnish it? So this was a semi-furnished apartment. So basically there was nothing, but the kitchen was like fully set up with cupboards. That's what they mean with like semi-furnished. And then the both bedrooms had huge wardrobes. Everything else was like not there, and I had to buy everything. So the way that I set this place up affordably was that I actually got a lot of secondhand things. Like this couch right here is a secondhand couch. And I know that a lot of people in India don't prefer secondhand and everything has to be new, this and that, but I don't believe in that. And I'm from Finland, where we are a lot more accustomed to, recycling and just reusing and buying things secondhand, and there's no shame in that. And actually it's a good thing, to not just continuously buy just because you want something new, when there is something beautiful, unique and special available at a lesser cost that instead would get thrown away if you didn't buy it. So I got a friend who lives in a society, a gated community, where there was a WhatsApp group where people were selling furnitures. So I got the information from that group, and I just visited people directly in their homes, and I saw the things for myself and decided, well, this one actually I didn't even see. I trusted the person. I got it on Facebook. I just bought it like that. And then for the things that I couldn't buy secondhand and that I didn't want to buy secondhand, like the ACs, the water heaters, I think the fridge, I got new. But I spent a good few months putting the place together, at least 30 days, setting up the place, setting up the furniture and getting everything in its place before I put the place online. And then also with my Airbnbs, I always want to add some uniqueness to the place, some personal touch. So I created some inner healing cards, transformational, like self-development cards. I always have my cards in my Airbnbs for guests to look at. And I have a small book collection with like inspirational, motivational books. And then I have, like I mentioned, my sister's art. She's an artist in Finland. So I always want to inspire and motivate my guests while they're here, to give them something to think about, a new point of view or perspective that can then help them on their own journey in life. So I try to put in small things here and there to just enhance their experience. What did I actually earn from this place? Well, I had to invest first around 3,300,000 Indian rupees on the furniture, and that includes the secondhand and the things that I bought new. And then I had to pay 1.5 lakhs, 150,000 Indian rupees for the advance, the deposit, which I'll get back partially, minus certain things that I paid to the house owner. And then every month after rent, electricity, internet, Wi-Fi, gas, and all the cleaning costs, per month, like cleaning supplies, I made about 30 to 40,000 rupees profit. But this was when I was cleaning the place myself. So initially, I was cleaning the place every single time for over 1 year. And how I did it was that I preferred long-term staying guests, because I could definitely not clean the place every day, because I was doing rescue work, taking care of my babies, taking them to the hospital, etc., running my other Airbnb. So I definitely couldn't clean this place every day. So I preferred long-term guests. I had guests who were staying for 5 days, for 10 days, 15 days, or for a complete month. And at some point, I wasn't even able to clean a few times a month. That's when I moved to a full-time professional cleaner. And that's when things got rough, because I had to pay a full-time salary to the person, and that made my profits very small. And on top of that, the bookings got lesser. How did I manage everything? Like checking the guests in and out, the messaging, the communication, cleaning the place, setting the initial place up. So basically, I set up the whole place myself with one of my staffs who was on a monthly salary, who was doing all kinds of works for me. He helped me to set this place up with the furniture, decorating, interior, getting everything to work. There was a lot of issues, like there wasn't running water here when I first came, and there was just a lot of things that needed addressing before it was a livable, peaceful place. So we set up the place together, and always with all my Airbnbs, I take care of all the communication with the guests, the messaging, everything goes through me, and I am always available to my guests, like basically 24/7. I am quite quick to respond, and that's what guests really appreciate also, that if they ask me something, if they need something, they always get a quick response. Then for the cleaning, when I was cleaning the place, I was scrubbing the toilets, I was doing everything. And I know people in India, like, they don't do that normally. Like, if you can afford to hire someone to clean, you wouldn't do it yourself. But I have in Finland worked as a cleaner. I used to clean 35 toilets a day at the Finnish broadcasting company when I was a teenager. So I am okay with cleaning toilets. I don't think that anyone who cleans is lower, and I don't believe in all that kind of hierarchy. Like, you do what you gotta do to make your money and to make your place successful. And for me, it made sense because I am a perfectionist. I am really, really focused, and for me, cleanliness is really important. Sorry, this bloody fly just keeps bloody rounding my head here. But yeah, so for me, it was really important that the place is perfectly clean. I couldn't really find someone who met my standards when it came to cleanliness. Like they were just not doing a good enough job. And I also had issues with finding someone who would be punctual and who would clean exactly when the guests check out, and then again when they're checking in. And because it was irregular, you never knew if someone's staying for a long time or short term. So it was hard to get someone initially monthly, until I found this professional cleaner. He's really good, but charges a lot, which again affected my profits, which made it more of a challenge to make a good amount from this place. So what were the reviews like of this place? Well, basically, this is a guest's favorite on Airbnb, and I had, now that I'm closing the place, I have 54 reviews, out of which 53 are 5-star reviews. And one thing about me, I never ask for a 5-star review. I always ask for a review, but I never ask for someone to post a particular rating. I let the people decide. So these are unbiased reviews. When I said 54 reviews, I didn't have only 54 guests, because most of the guests don't leave reviews, or almost like every second guest leaves a review, I would say, or a little bit more than 50%. So I actually had over 100 guests over the period of 2 years. Some guests stayed for just 1 month, and some stayed for 5 days, etc., for 1 day. I have 1 4-star review for the place, and the rest are all 5-star. And I'm really proud of it, because if you are an Airbnb host, you know that it's not very easy always to get a 5-star review. And I think this place has done so well, because I have made sure that everything works here. Everything's taken care of. I'm always available if something's needed, and just making sure that the place is always, like when the guests check in, clean. And I have a really smooth check-in and check-out system, where there's a locker next to the door that we've drilled there where the keys are. So you don't need to wait, so you don't need to hassle with anyone to get the keys or to check out, wait for someone. You can just smoothly collect the keys whenever you want to, even in the middle of the night. So this has worked. I have it in my other Airbnb as well. It works really well. And I've gotten some really amazing feedback from people. Most guests love the place. They love the way I've decorated it. They love the uniqueness in the style. They feel that this place has really good energy. So many people have told me that. I'm sure that my efforts and my energy towards the place, like my genuine interest and intentions to make this a good place for guests, reflects in the energy of the place. But also, people love that it's so clean, spotless, and that they can reach me as a host anytime. They don't need to worry about if I'm responsive or not. And the location and the peacefulness of the place, and just that, yeah, there's power backup and some basics, of course. So people have continuously told me how much they love the place, and it always warms my heart when people say that it's the best Airbnb that they've ever visited, or that I am the best host that they've ever had, and they just feel completely at home. So it really warms my heart, and it is really emotional to have to let this place go, because I have met some amazing people here. I've connected with the most amazing souls. I've made friends out of the guests here, and of course I've had some bad guests as well, but like bad as in like difficult and disrespectful, rude people. But I have also had the most amazing guests, so it is not easy to let this place go. So what are the challenges that I've faced as an Airbnb host running this place? Well, as I said, I have been very lucky to have the most amazing guests and made some lifelong friendships and connections from the people staying here, and I'm so grateful to each person who has stayed here. But obviously, in every place, every Airbnb, every hotel, every homestay that you run, there will be difficult guests, and you have to be prepared that they will, cross your path, and you can't avoid them completely. But with your, your settings on Airbnb and your rules, and you can do a lot of things to prevent having people that you don't want in your space. But you never know. In Airbnb, not only do we as hosts and properties get reviews, we also review the guests. Some guests really have a lot of 5-star ratings, and then you kind of expect that, okay, this is a really good guest. You read that, wow, they were so nice and they took so good care of the place, and then they end up taking the worst care ever, and you wonder, like, why did they get a good review? It's so confusing and it's so disappointing. And the thing that I've experienced the most is in this particular Airbnb is that people who stay short term, like just for one night, they come to just drink and trash the place, basically. Not as badly as, that wrecking everything, but people have, like, even on this sofa, they burnt holes, like they smoked and they burnt holes in the sofa. They break things and damage furniture, sheets, blankets, all kinds of things. And it's just such a headache, because then you have a next guest checking in a few hours, and you have to go out, buy the things, get things repaired and replaced, and it is just so difficult, especially when the guests refuse, first of all, to accept that they've done the damage, even though we know they have, and then they refuse to compensate, and they just escape, and they become rude, and then they want to write a bad review to you because you've confronted them. That's one really big challenge, and that happens with short-term stays. And yes, when you are able to get long-term stays, I had a setting at one point, for example, that I only take bookings that are at least 5 days long. But the thing is, when you don't get those bookings, you can't be that selective. Otherwise, you're just gonna get less bookings, and you're not gonna be able to pay your rent and your maintenance, etc. So at one point, I just had to go ahead with short-term bookings. So that's one challenge, with that people don't take proper care of the place. Another challenge that I face, which is probably worldwide but very, very bad in India, it's that people do not check out on time. And when you have a big hotel, you have 50, 100 rooms, and you are never fully booked. You have some room to, you can leave the guests for some time and you clean another room, etc. But when you have one unit, one place, I always try to explain this to guests, that we have next guest checking into this particular place and we need to clean it, and we need the 2 hours or 3 hours, whatever it is, to clean the place. Please check out on time. And they still keep saying 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes, and it goes on and on and on. And if you don't push them, they might stay for 1 hour extra, and it is just so nerve-wracking, because I have to be there continuously asking them to check out. The person who's come to clean is standing outside the door waiting, and they have to be somewhere else. And it just feels so disrespectful when people don't value other people's time. And the same people do want to check in early and are pushing to come early, meaning that we should have the place ready early, and that means we should start cleaning early. And then they want to check out late. They want to come early and check out late. And that doesn't work when you have one unit and people coming and going every single day. So this is a challenge that I've faced with all the places that I run in India, that people do not check out on time, because people are not very punctual in India, unfortunately. When I used to run my ex's hotel with him, and we had a lot of Europeans and people from other countries, it was a bit easier because people are more punctual. I don't mean to be rude when I say this, but I'm from Finland, and we are very strict on time there. And I know that I wouldn't, if someone tells me like 12 o'clock is checkout, I will leave at 12. I'm not gonna, maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes max. I don't even do that, because I know the hell that all hosts have to go through. But here people, when they say 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, it doesn't mean that. It can just keep going on and on. So that's something that I really struggle with like people checking out late. Then there are just those guests who are never happy with anything, and they'll continuously message you, and they are just unhappy. It's really hard to please them, but I always try my best, with limitations, of course. That can be a challenge as well, but mostly it is upon checkout, seeing the condition of the place, or guests not leaving on time. That's the most challenging part that I've found with this particular Airbnb. And also, when people smoke indoors, despite being told so many times that it's not allowed, that is so disappointing, because it smells horrible. And the next guest, if they're sensitive, it is just a huge mess. Also, when people break things and they refuse to accept that they've broken it, and we know that it was working before they checked in. For example, there was the dining table broke and the people just refused, the guests refused to accept that they had broken it. And then there was an incident with the fridge last month breaking because the guest used a metal piece to scrape the freezer and it opened up the gas, there was like a gas leak and we couldn't like turn it on for safety reasons at all. They refused to compensate or help, and imagine like a new fridge is freaking expensive. I didn't have any plans of buying a new fridge, and especially when I was closing this place down, it felt so unnecessary that just for a few weeks I need to buy a fridge for this place. So that was really disappointing when it happened, and people just don't understand that they come and stay for a day, but we have to like financially manage everything that breaks. We can't just like tell the next guest that sorry, there's no fridge. We have to compensate. So yeah. So why am I shutting this place down? If this is running well, I'm getting 5-star reviews, it's a guest favorite on Airbnb, and the bookings are coming in and I've never lost money, why am I shutting this place down? Well, there are so many reasons for it. It is definitely not just one simple reason, but I'm gonna share with you everything. So basically, when I started this place, like I said, I was cleaning the place myself. I was maintaining everything myself, so the profits were higher because I didn't have to pay anyone to clean the place. And I had the time to clean it, and I actually enjoyed the cleaning. I was listening to music, dancing while I cleaned, and just having a good time. But now I don't have the time to clean the place and I have to pay a cleaner, which makes my profits a lot smaller. On top of that, the bookings have reduced, and that's not because the place is not good. It's because in the 2 years that I've been running this Airbnb, more and more Airbnbs have come up. And it's not that there are better places necessarily nearby, I would say, but there are places that are cheaper. And for many people, price is a factor. And when people own their own apartments, obviously they're able to charge less because they don't need to cover rent and then only make a profit. But for me, since I was renting, I had to charge a certain amount. I wasn't charging that much, but still I had to charge to cover all the expenses. That was one issue. And then the fact that there was many Airbnbs coming up in the locations that made more sense for a lot of the guests who used to stay here because there wasn't many options in the areas that they were looking. But now that there are more options, why would they stay further away where this place is maybe more popular for short-term bookings, which again, for me is not preferable at all, because dealing with guests who are coming in and out is a lot of work. Like every day, if you have new guests, you have to communicate again with them. You have to share all the information. It's a lot harder than when you have someone staying long-term, unless that's a difficult guest who's staying long-term and who's not happy. So that was one issue, that I had to go for short-term bookings, several check-in, check-outs, every day people are coming and going. The staff was getting unhappy, the person who was cleaning, because the place was not maintained well. And I can totally understand that, but that was a lot of work for me to deal with every day, hearing him complain about how bad how bad condition the flat was in, even though I had made the rules clear, asked them to take good care, seen good reviews about them, etc., etc., and still, ending up being disappointed. And my staff would send the videos after every checkout and to show me what the place looks like, so I would see actually how badly the place was maintained. Like, I just want to show you guys, like for example, this in the garden chair, the guest who did it didn't tell us that they did it, and they just left without apologizing, without offering to compensate or anything. And it's just a shame. So all these things were a contributing factor to why I started considering if this was a good idea long term. And then a few months ago, there was a month where I made very little profits. I made profits, but the efforts that I have put in didn't justify that tiny profit. Another reason was that this particular society had made some changes in their rules. So when I started this place, the guests had access to the pool, the gym, all the common facilities, amenities in this society. But now they've restricted it so that the guests can't access all these places. And they've also installed this app where you have to approve at the gate any incoming delivery or any person who's coming to the flat. And I have to manually approve each time a delivery, like food delivery, comes in. I can pre-approve, but I can only do it for 1 day ahead, and I have to select each delivery agent, like if it's coming from Swiggy, if it's coming from a Big Basket, Zomato, whatever it is, separately. And that takes a lot of time. And if I forget to do that, I keep getting called. And if a guest orders food at like 4 a.m., I have to approve that entry. And that was like, oh my gosh, I don't want to be doing that. And then I also I think it was like bad luck. I just had a lot of unhappy guests who were, not that there was anything really wrong in the flats, but there were some minor things like this was not working, that was not working. And then they were really like pushing me. And of course, I always deal with the things, but sometimes these maintenance issues are not in our hands as hosts. Like, we will keep trying to get repair people to come, but in India, it doesn't always happen as fast as we want them to. And things break a lot in India. Like I always say, in Finland, in my 30 years that I lived in Finland, I had never had to call an electrician electrician, a plumber, or any kind of washing machine repair or anything in my life, because everything just works and it lasts. But here, things just aren't very durable and they break easily. So we have to continuously be in touch and get AC, plumbers, electricians, a washing machine repair, fridge, etc. And it is a lot to manage and keep calling, keep asking them to come, and them not showing up, and the guests complaining, etc., etc. So that's one reason as well that I just didn't want to deal with this, because I also have to deal with it in my other Airbnb, my own property, which is an independent house. So there is partial power backup, but not complete. It was just a lot to deal with. So this was one side, that the profits were smaller, the efforts felt bigger. My staff didn't seem very happy, and that was like burdening me as well. And also me being dependent on one person who cleans the place really well was a bit like, I didn't want that situation. And then on top of this, my Airbnb, my other property, which I own myself, I have been working on building 2 more rooms. Like on the first floor, I have a 2 BHK on the ground floor, and I had taken out a loan to build 2 more rooms to also increase my income. And it made more sense to me to invest in my place that is actually my property, rather than, for example, here making the place fancier and charging more, etc. So I had taken out a loan, and I was hoping that the place would be ready long back, but as it happens, construction things get delayed and prolonged, and the costs go up. And I came to a stage now where the place still isn't ready. It's almost ready, but I can't afford furniture to furnish those 2 bedrooms that I've made and the terrace, because I don't have the money, and my baby's medical costs have exploded because I have babies with chronic kidney disease and heart conditions and cancer, that there's been a lot of surgeries, there's a lot of checkups that are very necessary, blood tests for their continued care and maintenance. So I just really need to get my other Airbnb going so that I can charge more for that place, the 2 extra rooms. So then I came up with the genius idea, if I just say so myself, that I take the furniture from this place when I close down and I put it in that Airbnb, and I don't need to buy the furniture, I don't need to take a loan, and I can start renting that place out. And what would I even do with this furniture? I mean, I don't have the space to take it in my home, and selling it would be a total nightmare headache, I'm sure. So this makes so much more sense, that if I keep running this Airbnb financially, I'm not going to make that much profit, but I'm going to have to put a lot of energy and effort with all the challenges and issues arising. And I'm not going to have money to start running or furnish my other Airbnb. So I would have 2 rooms that are basically ready but not rentable, which again doesn't make sense. So all in all, this made perfect sense to me to close this place down and start running my other Airbnb as a 4 BHK. Now, if that place was not there, if I wasn't building 2 more rooms, I might still just continue this. But somehow, to me, in my heart, it feels that this time is now. Like, I had a beautiful time here, 2 years. I made good profit, like I didn't lose any money. I gained a lot of experiences. I had so many happy guests. I was able to provide a beautiful space for people to stay in, and I'm handing this place over to the owner in a good shape, in a peaceful way. It's been amazing, and I'm so grateful for this experience, and that I was able to create a business literally from scratch, where I started earning. When I put this place online, I think I got the first booking within 1 or 2 days, and I earned the first month I earned I think it was 30 or 40,000 rupees immediately. But this doesn't mean that you necessarily will earn the same. And I'm not saying this because I'm so amazing or something. I'm saying that you really have to do your research about the place that you are selecting, and if there is a demand. If there is a lot of Airbnbs, it means yes, there is a demand. But it also, if you look at the places, if they're all empty and they're not getting bookings, there might just be too many Airbnbs and not enough demand. So you really have to do your background research if you're ready to put the energy and effort. Starting an Airbnb in the beginning is so much work. I mean, now with AI, yes, you can get help. At the time, I didn't have AI, like doing all your descriptions and all the text, for the initial setup. Running an Airbnb takes a lot of initial effort to get it going, to get those good reviews and to get more bookings, getting everything like how things work and having a system, a strategy, a process for everything. That takes time. But once it's running, in a way it's passive income, but in a way it's not. If you can afford to hire someone to manage it for you, that's a different thing. But I have always been completely hands-on with my Airbnbs. Only thing that with my other Airbnb, I have 2 people who clean it. They've been cleaning it for 4 years, and it's been going well. And I have another person who waters the plants in the garden. So everything's covered. I don't need to go there, but I do need to go there at least once a week to check, because here people are not, they don't notice small things here and there that guests might notice, and we have to like kind of do like quality checks. Mostly like it's hard to get people to report to you everything. So if you want your place to really run smoothly and to notice anything that's wrong, you have to be there physically, unless you have a person who reports to you well. And I always, throughout my journey as an Airbnb host, in this Airbnb, my other Airbnb, I'm a person who loves to make improvements. So a lot of people in the hospitality industry, I feel like their attitude is like, okay, I set up the place, now let the money come into me, and I'm not going to put in a penny anymore, but I want to earn. And I think that attitude is so wrong and it's so outdated. In 2025, that doesn't work. And I always want to improve, do better, and I want guests to give me their feedback so that I can make it better for their next visit or for the next guest. So I'm always in my spaces sitting, looking around like, what could I change over here? How could I make this place better? How could I make this prettier? How could I make this more functional? And I'm not like, oh, okay, that's how it is. Yeah, cool. Okay, let me just take in all the income and, you know, focus on other parts of my life. No, I am always like happy to announce some new upgrade or some new, you know, something that has come into my Airbnbs. And I've done this with this place, and I think that's one of the reasons why it succeeded, because I listened to my guests and I had this passion for creating a beautiful space. Even though I didn't study anything related to design, interior design, hospitality, the hotel industry, or anything like that. I studied business, a very kind of basic degree, and I studied digital marketing. And I think some of the things that I studied have maybe helped me a little bit, but mostly it's just been my own interest, my own passion, and my efforts and my experience also in the hospitality industry, definitely. So you don't learn until you actually put yourself out there. You're ready to make mistakes and take risks and learn from your mistakes. And now in 2025, with AI, with ChatGPT as our best friend, and with all the information that we can get on YouTube, in videos like this, hearing people's experiences, what mistakes they made and what they could have done better, and tips, I feel like we have so much better chances to succeed when we are ready to hear from others and just get inspired and learn and grow. So definitely this place has been something so beautiful to me. I'm so grateful. So many of my guests, you won't believe, who have been telling me like, why are you shutting this place down? It's so amazing. I feel sad. And they wanted to book for next week, and I've had to say that sorry. Like now today, June 1st is the last. Actually tomorrow I have one more guest coming, but after that it's done. I feel emotional, but I know that this place has come to an end. Some of my most precious memories from running this place has definitely been like being able to design and set up the place exactly how I want to. And when guests like message me that they found one of the books that I have in the bedroom inspiring and it's helped them to realize something or to chase their dreams, or when they tell me that they like my inner healing cards and that they really resonate with them and they find them really motivating, or when people tell me that they're so happy and grateful to find a pet-friendly place that actually welcomes pets, because all my stays are pet-friendly. And like I said, I didn't only want to share this for you so that you can get inspiration, insights, and how it is to run an Airbnb and some understanding behind this concept, but also I wanted to do this for the selfish reason that I wanted to get closure and like wrap it all up, because it's been an amazing 2 years and I feel like I got a lot of information into this video. So if you enjoyed it, please comment below, let me know your thoughts. I feel like I did something that I didn't have anyone to guide me. I didn't have anyone to advise me, any mentor, but I still was able to do it. I didn't really believe in myself, but I just did it, you know? I took action. What this place taught me was definitely that I am cut out to be an Airbnb host, and I can do anything that I put my mind to, and that this is really my thing. And I am so lucky that I got to experience this. And of course, I'm going to continue being an Airbnb host, but not with this place. And I just feel like I learned so much, and I take this all as a great lesson. I just want to inspire you to also go after whatever it is that you want to do, but just be smart about it and do your research, not just like trying things out without doing your research. And I do have people who approach me every now and then asking if I do consultations because they want to set up their own Airbnb, or they want to kind of find out if it's going to be feasible for them, or get advice and guidance on how to go about things. So if you're interested in that, you can contact me. I'll leave my contact details below. Thank you for being here. Do subscribe to the channel if you feel like you got value out of this, and talk to you soon.